Should have got a shot with two of them with the new one.
We are recording.
He do that. He don't tell no damn about it.
Hey, so the
Oh.
images that you're looking at are images of Star West Transportation. Star West Transportation is a charter bus transportation company that was launched in September 2017 and has provided over 1,200 trips and counting. Star West offers private charter bus services through the state of Florida and out of state. It's located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They are in the heart of the operations of the Southeast region. Excuse me. Most of their clients are from the Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Their core value are safety, transparency, being affordable, and being reliable. We have the owner of Star West Transportation with us in studio today. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for Dale West.
All right.
Yo, nah, like, I
Thanks
think
for
if they
having
go
me.
fire some shot, bro. Man, do a round of applause.
I asked for a round of applause. What you mean?
Hey, what's wrong with you, dog? You all right?
Fire some shot, dog.
Huh?
Fire some shot.
Oh, my goodness. Dale, first of all, man, thank you for making time out of your schedule. I know you have a busy schedule. We've been
Indeed.
texting back and forth all day. Well, not all day.
Indeed, son.
Last month trying to get this organized, but you're here now. We got to thank you for that, man. Welcome.
All right.
Welcome
thank
to
you.
the Lions Den.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's get right into it.
All right.
Take us back to the beginning. When you were brainstorming about starting a potential business idea, what made you say charter bus? That's the direction I'm going in.
Okay. So that idea came because I was actually a school bus driver.
I remember that.
Yeah. I was driving the cheese for about 3 years. And I remember being on a few field trips. Getting on the school bus, you got to start with your school routes, and then in between you have downtime, and then you go for your PM routes. So I'll be in my in between time, we'll do field trips, and we'll be doing these field trips, and these teachers are like, complaining because we're rushing them. We're like, yo, we got to get going, pick up our elementary route. And they'll always complain, saying, yo, man, we don't have enough time for our trip. There's always a complaint. So that's where the idea came from. I should probably start a bus company. Now, initially, I always wanted to be an airline pilot. So I always wanted to be an airline pilot. I actually started training, and that was during the 07, 08 era, the recession. So that kind of phased out because I stopped, and I was like, I'll come back later. Ask any pilot. They'll say, do not stop flight training. And that's why, because you probably won't come back to it. Okay. So by 30, I was like, if I'm not back in flight training, I'm going to start some kind of company. And I think I was driving a school bus at around 23, 24. And that's where the idea came from. So it kind of just blossomed from there.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it's not easy to start one.
It's not.
How do you start one?
With a Google search.
Hey,
With a Google search. That's where it started. I mean, I had the idea, and I said, okay, where do I start? So I went on Google. I said, how to start a bus company. You start reading these articles. And, I mean, it takes time because you start off with one article, it leads to another article, and something you might not even think of pops up during this article. It could be like the regulations for DOT. Oh, snap, I didn't much think about DOT. Like, that was going to be later down the road. So I'm like, okay, what do I need to have? DOT is Department of Transportation. Yeah. So I'm like, what kind of stuff do I need to have to pass a DOT inspection? And then, things like, where do you get a bus? Where do you find insurance? How much is it? Where do you get it fixed, serviced, all that good stuff? How do you advertise? Who are your competitors? It's a lot. So it started with a Google search, and that took me the whole process trying to lay the foundation. I would say that took about over a year, just to gather information,
Damn.
build the foundation, and then start working on it.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's the thing. People see the finished product, but they don't see the work that went behind it.
The work, yeah, it's a lot behind the scenes. Trust me. Just today alone, I could tell you a whole story about today.
No, go ahead. Drop the story.
Because the thing is, you lay the foundation. You start out as gathering information and making sure everything's in place. And it's a lot. You get your roadblocks, you get your stumbles that come along the way. And then when you actually start, that process was preparing you for when you actually start, because when you start, that's a whole nother process of roadblocks. I got 3 strikes against me already starting a transportation business. I will call it YBM.
Meaning, what does that stand for?
Young
Young.
Black Male.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right? Those are 3 strikes that was already against me.
Okay.
How many people that's 30 years old do you see that owns a charter bus company?
So let me cut you for a second, because that's actually why I wanted to bring you in. Because when you think about businesses nowadays, especially from a black male, the average black male is not thinking about a charter bus.
No.
Right.
Because if I were to start a business, that's not.
No,
That's not something I think
probably
about.
the last thing on your mind.
I hate driving. So I'll be damned.
So this is why your story intrigued me, because I'm like, at 30 years old, it's not something that the average person thinks about.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Especially from the black community.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to give you a round of applause for that one. What do you want, the air horn? What you want?
Fire some shot, dog.
Well, I don't have that, though.
I must Dale, I must say I'm proud of you, bro. Like,
I appreciate it. I
Yeah, for sure,
appreciate it.
dog.
Come a
Yeah.
long way.
It's stuff like this that keeps me going, because when I have them rough days, I'm like, yo, ready to just say F it.
Like every
It
business
keeps me
owner,
going.
though.
Exactly, So,
Trials
keeps
and
me going.
tribulations.
But you know the
Yeah.
question I'm gonna hit you with though.
I'm ready for it. Go
Like
ahead.
you got so many businesses to choose from. Why the bus? Because you're saying
You know what it was too? I think I'm more inclined towards transportation, which is probably why I've been in certain fields that I've been in over the years. I've been in the airline industry as well.
My bad.
You told us.
yo, I was like, what's going on there? I
Didn't
was
we
like,
talk about this?
We did.
Put the phones on.
We did.
I've been in the airline industry as well, and that was not too long right out of high school. I was doing baggage and stuff at one airline, and I went to another airline doing ticketing. Then I went to another airline as a flight attendant. So, I've been in the the transportation industry. So I'm more transportation inclined. And I think the bus kind of always was in me, because as a young kid in Jamaica, I was riding all up and down on these buses because my mom's boyfriend was a conductor. If you know anything about, as a Jamaican.
They man don't know nothing about that, bro.
I don't know, or Devin.
You
No,
don't
I
know
never
nothing
know
about
that.
that.
I don't know.
First of all,
Nothing about
I
that.
used to fall asleep all the time on the bus in Jamaica.
I
But
didn't
you know how
they
many
was
times I used
called
to
a
go to
conductor.
school?
Huh?
You know how many times I used to go to school?
It's
in
not the
Excelsior?
driver, yo.
No, listen.
Mm-mm, it's not the driver.
He thinks it's the driver. They call the conductor.
No. The conductor collects the money, and he's the one who gets people to squeeze inside the bus, small up himself, and get to the back so he can load up more money, more people, and get more money.
Must be leaning to one side.
Hell no. What kind of? They don't got the DOT down there?
Nah.
Ain't nobody give a damn, huh?
I mean, they're governed by something, but this is
Yeah.
back in like
Ain't no
the early
DOT,
90s.
bro.
One stop driver. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know how many times I was supposed to go to school and end up at Norman Manley Airport because I fell asleep?
Wow.
Walked to school later than
You still went to school?
Yeah, good.
The days, yo.
Oh,
Remember the
boy.
days.
Nah, but go
Yeah.
ahead, finish. I want to cut you off.
Oh, shoot. Where was I?
You say you used to ride up and down on the bus.
Yeah. So that's kind of, it kind of was always in me. And I probably didn't even realize it until later in life, because really and truly, my first love was always airplanes. Love airplanes. And I guess after that was anything that falls in the transportation aspect. Now, I guess another foundation for me was most males in my family has a CDL. So when I graduated high school, one of the first things my uncle said to me was, "So when you getting your CDL?" I got it. I just got the permit just to have it. It was a little pressuring because as a teen, you kind of want to show out, drive all kind of crazy. With a CDL, you can't do stuff like that because there's no traffic school. If you get a ticket, you just kind of got to stick with the points and whatever. So it kind of already challenged me to drive more on the professional side, be more courteous and not do anything crazy like a typical teenager. I had my CDL at 19.
Does the CDL cover? What kind of vehicles does it cover?
It depends on your class. So you have a Class A. Class A is basically for the trailers, tractor trailers, having 2 vehicles combined. Class B is like anything straight, like a bus or a furniture, like a moving truck. And then after that is like stuff for like limousines and stuff like that. But Class A and Class B is morely for the larger vehicles. And I have a Class B. Never really planned on driving a trailer, so I didn't see the need for a Class A.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to that.
All right.
But you touched on something. I want to go back to it. Being a young black male, what kind of roadblocks did you run into in your journey to this point?
For starters, it was a lot of no's. You'll go somewhere. Oh, I'm so sorry. You go somewhere. No, just no. You know, you go to school and they tell you how you should write a business plan and, you know, present yourself, dress up. I did all of that. I got some stories to tell you. And you know what? Some of these,
Man, share it.
fast forward, like, I'll do some of these school trips, and if I'm the one driving and the teacher puts 2 and 2 together, hey, you're the one that's been communicating with me via email or whatever, they kind of have me say stuff to the kids sometimes. And, you know, I kind of give them whatever perspective I have, especially if it's like a minority crowd, and I could probably kind of instill something in them. Whatever I could do, whatever platform I have, then I'll do that. Going back to the no's, I'll go to the bank. I remember the first bank. I'm not even gonna say a bank, but I remember I went to a bank, Sunday best, shirt, tie.
Open
I went up in there,
Sharp.
Steve Harvey shoes, you name it. Went up in there. I sat down. I had my business plan, like the school said, and I don't know what my business was gonna do in the next 2 years or whatever. I just put some stuff on there. I'm like, I expect to make this much. I don't know. So I went in there, sat down, spoke to a financial advisor, and bless his heart, because he was really listening to me. But I'm looking at his face, and I could tell he was just trying to be, not so much of I don't know what words I can say on here, but he'll listen to me. At least I appreciate that much from him. At the end of the day, the answer was no, but he heard me out. And, I remember him verifying the business. He went on SunBiz to make sure it was a registered business and all that. He started asking me some financials, and, at the end of the day, he heard me out, and he was like, I know a lot of the stuff have to go through the underwriters. So he kind of left it at that, and I'd hear back from them. And, of course, you hear back. Nah, unfortunately, no. Fast forward, I went to a few of the banks. I tried a few of the routes. They say, oh, you got to take out a loan for your business. Did you know that the banks probably most likely will not give you a loan for your business if you're starting out?
Really?
Yeah.
Nah, didn't know
Because they're going to say you need some kind of experience. You got to have at least 1 year experience.
Okay.
Well, where do you start?
Right, exactly. I hate that.
Where
that.
do you start?
Without the business, where do you get the experience?
Right.
So I could not get a business loan for nothing. Well, guess what I did have? Good credit.
There you go.
That's one thing the school system don't really teach you. You got to discipline yourself. Now, growing up, people used to call me cheap. People used to call me cheap, but you know what? They just misunderstood what
I didn't say
I
nothing.
stood for.
Because you looking at me.
I didn't say
I'll
nothing.
be cheap.
I didn't say nothing.
That's all
Did-
right.
Did you say something, Dever?
No, but you look right at
No,
me.
I know Dale for being cheap.
and it's all good. You know what? Because at the end of the day, I knew how to balance a budget.
Right.
You give me any budget and I'll balance that budget. I'll make it work. I'll stretch any penny. You see, when people was going through the recession, I think the recession taught me a lot. Because I was in college at the time, and I was living with moms, but I had my budget. I was working my little part-time job here and there, and I had my responsibility. It wasn't much, but I had a car note I had to pay, my insurance, which was high because I was young at the time, and I just had to make it work. I mean, a few times I went into the negatives, but it was a lesson learned, and I regrouped from that. I remember having to make some choices at that age, like, if you want to balance this quote unquote budget, you got to start making some different choices. Stop eating so fancy. Bring it down a little bit. I remember at one point I was going to school in Palm Beach, was it State College? And instead of driving up there, because gas prices was through the roof, I think it hit 3 something at the time, and we wasn't used to that, I just drove to the Tri-Rail. I took the Tri-Rail. It was only $5. Stuff like that. make certain changes to reduce your costs. Did that, came back, did whatever. And from that age, I started learning how to budget and protecting what's your most valuable asset, and that's your credit. Build your credit, protect it, pay your bills on time, and later in life, it definitely was a benefit, so to say. So what I ended up doing ultimately, I had to apply for a personal loan. And even before I got approved, I was going into the bank still. No. The answer was no. Why was they not? And it was to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm not even thinking about it no more. If it happens, it happens. I applied online. That was the difference. And that's when I got approved.
Online ain't got no face.
Online ain't got no face. And I do not have no name. So I applied online. It got approved. I remember I was in the air. I was on the plane. I looked at my email. Yo, I could have did a backflip on that plane.
Wow.
I landed. I went home, and I almost cried. No lie. But went home. I got myself situated. I had to go into the branch to sign some stuff and make it official. That's when I walked in with my chest high. It's mine already.
There you go,
I just got to
brother.
sign for it.
Congrats.
Sign for it. Appreciate it. Sign for it. And at this point, because this poor dealership, they was dealing with me for about 6 months. There's one bus I was looking at. And the guy was looking at me like, yo, I'm losing faith in you because you over here, you ain't serious about buying this bus. And I finally hit him up. I was like, yo, I got the money. Let's do it. It was in Orlando. And I was ready to make the down payment. I wired it to him, and the big day came when I had to go get it. My dad didn't even believe that I made it this far because he didn't think I would be approved to make a purchase so big. Right. He had to come with me. He was like, "No, I'm coming with you. Make sure nobody is taking advantage of you." Went up there. All the I's were dotted. All the T's were crossed. Gave me the keys, cranked it up. We drove it home, went to my mom's house. The whole block was outside. The whole block was outside because I told her I was coming. I was like, yo, she didn't even know what kind of bus it was. She thought it was like one of those little community buses. I'm talking about a 57-seater charter bus. Pulled up, and it was like a village. And it felt nice because it kind of gave me a sense of accomplishment, and that was just the start. That was just the start. So I always think back to that moment when I go through any obstacles or roadblocks along the way. And, I always remember that moment. It was a moment of accomplishment. So I could only imagine what the future is going to be like when I reach to another milestone. So, yeah.
That's what's up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. So fast forward, you're in the business. You up to how many buses now?
I have 2. And any day now, I should be having the 3rd one.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to see the perfect one.
Give it up for the 3 buses.
And many more. And many more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
with that being said, you're on the road. 2-part question. What's the furthest you've gone in your bus?
Right now, currently, it's Ohio. That's about to be...
Morning, I had to go pick up my parents from Palm Beach Airport, and I was like,
Man.
"Damn!"
That's about to change. We booked a trip coming up on the 27th, December 27th. That's going to Indianapolis, and that's going to be the longest trip. It's going to be about a week, a little over a week. Most trips, the longest I had was about 5-6 days. This one's about to be 9, going on 10 days. Now, trips like that, of course, I'm not doing it by myself.
Right.
You got to have a relief driver. Whether you switch halfway or they start with you and you just tag team, do 4 hours here, they do 4 hours here, whatever. Right. And then you just get them to where they're going. Chances are when they go that far, once they get there, they're not using the bus again. They'll probably take Ubers in small groups. And you just chill in the hotel for the whole week.
And then you got to drive back.
And then drive back, yeah.
So what are these what are these groups or
Wait.
businesses?
So you drive by yourself? No kids? How that work?
No, they got to come back.
No, they got to come.
All right, my bad.
Yeah.
Stay with the class.
It's probably like sports teams. You got sports teams. The one that's going up to Minneapolis, that's a church group. It's a camp that they're going to.
Okay.
And some, depending on where they're going. Sometimes we could just drive up, drop them off, bring the bus back so it could do some more work. But if it's really far and it's kind of pointless, just charge them enough so that the bus has its funds for the time that it's being used. So
if you're out on that road and God forbid, the doesn't happen, but you have a bus needs service in the middle of a trip. Do you have that? Does AAA, like the standard AAA, or how does that work?
No, there's no AAA. Actually, you gotta plan for stuff like that. Remember when I said in the beginning I was gathering information?
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of it.
Okay.
You gotta know ahead of time. Yo, if you're traveling through Georgia, who do you call at 2:00 in the morning if you're driving overnight and you have a a flat tire? This actually did happen. Happened recently. We were driving a high school team to Tennessee, and it was around 4:00 in the morning. I think we stopped at a rest stop, and when we pulled in there, something went in the tire, punctured the tire, but we didn't realize. We hit the road again, and we're driving, and I just looked out the window, and I saw sparks. I was like, pulled the bus over. Now, I have
What part of
connects.
Georgia was it? Because there's certain parts where it's
I
just
know,
like, what?
I know. If this was South Georgia.
That's the question.
I'm trying to remember what city it was, but it wasn't.
Macon.
But I have
Macon?
South of Macon. Macon was about another, maybe it was right above Florida. Macon was another 30 minutes
Valdosta?
away or so. No, it was a really small town.
No,
That's all I remember.
all right.
But
Boy.
I remember my connects are in Atlanta. So I'm like, if I'm ever in Georgia, my connects are in Atlanta. I got bus companies up there. If I got to get rescued, I have like 5 companies up there I could call. You know, but it was a little ways out. So being in a small town, this is where I learned something. I'm like, yo, I got to really look into the small towns too, not just the big towns, because that's exactly what happened. So we had the flat, we pulled over, and AAA, all them services, they do not cater to buses. We're considered a company for hire. We're operating for income. No, this is morely for the general public. Now, a bus pulls over on the side of the road. They'll come to make sure that, you know, traffic gets around you, because it's kind of a big deal. They see a bus, there's people on there. So they're going to see it as a potential hazard for being something bigger than it really is. A trailer plows into us. So they'll make sure we're all safely off the road. When that happened with the tire, state trooper came. They stayed with us a little bit. They're like, you know, we could give you some numbers to some tow truck companies. Maybe they could help you with the tire. And that's what we did. We tried calling a few of them, and a lot of them don't work on buses. They're really for the small vehicles. So we got a tow truck company. They came out, hooked us up, and then we went on our way. Took a little while, but yeah.
Okay. So they was able to get the tire fixed, or they told you guys?
No, it wasn't a tow. We just had to put
Stanley.
the spare. Take the spare and then
That's dumber than my question.
As long as you know. I don't know, man. And it got us. Don't worry about it.
but yeah, man.
Hey, so when you get this business started, right? You got your first bus.
Mm-hmm.
How do you promote it? Because it ain't like you just walk around and hand out flyers. Yeah, I got a bus.
Well, that's kind of what I started doing. But I didn't just hand it to anybody, because not your average person is looking for a bus.
That's what I'm saying.
So I had a flyer. I started going out to like the private schools. I went to the private schools. I went to the charter schools, because to even do business with the public schools, you have to be a vendor. And
Okay.
I wasn't on that status yet.
Okay.
So I went to the private schools. I'm like, hey, this is me, you know, Star West, if you're, but you know what? That's when I also learned that image is everything, your approach is everything. So they're looking at this YBM, approaching them with a flyer, depending on the client that you're reaching out to. They might look at you like, nah, we got a company already. Thanks, though.
Right,
You know?
Right.
So that's where it started. And how I actually started getting work was through other companies. I was known as the Rescue Bus. My bus didn't have any graphics on there, no names. So I kind of blended in with whoever. And they loved that. A company will call like, hey, we got a bus on 75. The belts popped, and, you know, somebody to rescue them, take them wherever. So I would come in and then, you know, drive around. And I made my first set of income that way. And then I started getting my own clients with the private schools, and, you know, eventually they'll see the prices right. It was really low. I was working for free, basically. But it got my name out there, and that was a foundation that was set, because later in life, after all this craziness with the pandemic and everything, not all the bus companies made it through. They either downsized or they're not here anymore.
Wow.
So they're reaching back out to me. Hey, you still in business? Yeah, I'm still in business. Oh, we'd like to do a trip, such and such. And now it's like overwhelming.
Nice.
Overwhelming at this point.
That's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
Have you had to say,
No.
yeah.
I think about 7 of my emails today was sorry.
Damn.
That's a
No
damn good
problem.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
So
It's a
that's why I
blessing
say
in
I'm
disguise.
looking for another bus. It's people that I have contracts with now, field trip companies, certain schools that say we're only doing trips with you. They'll send me their full calendar of trips for the whole year. Plug it in. You should see my phone right now. I'm booked at least 90% of every month until June. So the school year is pretty much flooded. So when I get this third bus,
June
It's
next
ready.
year. So just
it's ready to work.
That's how you get your mic turned on.
Oh boy, that's what's up, man. That's
So the plan is bus 3 by December, bus 4 by December of next year.
So what's up? That's what's up. Hey,
Damn. Which one? Air horn? Applause?
round of applause, bro.
Give him the air horn because he wants the air horn so bad. He want that.
Yo, so driving to school. I know you probably had this on the school bus, but on the charter bus, have you ever had a moment when you had to say, "Man, if I have to pull this bus over"?
Nah. See, they're behaved on the charter bus because it's considered a luxury vehicle. So
Okay.
they come on there. They respect it a whole lot more. You know, like the school bus, they poke holes in the seats and draw on it.
Right.
They'll come on there and it's presented nice. So they're going to, act accordingly, I guess. So, I never had that issue. And plus, on the charter
that
bus,
movie
you
on.
have, you have entertainment. You have your Wi-Fi. You got your TVs they can watch. So they're occupied. It's when the kids' minds are idle. That's when they tend to do stuff. And and you got your chaperones on there, so it's not like before it was you versus 60 kids.
Right.
You got your chaperones; they handle all that. You just focus on driving.
I mean, Sandy, get him before I do. Better talk to him.
Oh boy, what's the end game? What's the ultimate goal? When do you know that Star West is? I mean, we already know it's official, but what's the pinnacle for Star West?
That is a good question because I'm trying to keep up with the company at this point.
There you go.
I'm still trying to find my balance. So the answer to that question is we shall see, because the $1 million question is how many buses do you plan on owning? I really don't know. I guess once I hit 5, I might stop in this area and probably open up somewhere else. Probably like 200 miles away, like Orlando. Open up a shop over there and build there. And then probably open up somewhere else. And if there's ever this large job where they need 10, 15 buses, I could always take away from another lot, combine them, and do whatever. But I'm not trying to be too big in one area. So that's that.
What's the being reliable? Like you having drivers. Of course, you can't drive every bus. You having drivers. What's the difficulty level of having reliable drivers? That's gonna be like, all right, well, I need you to go from here to Minneapolis, like you said, or Indianapolis. And somebody look at that and they're like, oh, yeah, bro, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Like, is it pretty? You can pretty much you have a pretty good core staff and say, all right, well, I need you guys to go here. I need you guys to go cross country, and they'll do it.
So trips like that, I'm always there.
Okay.
I'm not gonna send nobody. I mean, it's hard to let go. It's like having a baby. Trips like that, that's out of state. If it requires 2 drivers, I'll be one of those second drivers. I'll get to that point eventually where I could just send it out there, and I think I'm getting there because I have 2 guys right now. I can't say nothing bad about them. Can't say nothing. I mean, they've been driving probably as long as I've been alive, so at least one of them. So, once I know he's behind the wheel and he's on the job, I shouldn't have nothing to worry about. But yeah.
That's a damn good question. I'm gonna tell you why. Cause
And drivers right now is very hard to
come by.
get.
Yeah.
The industry,
reliable drivers too.
that too. But you could get a driver.
I wonder if I can get a CDL, bro, with my record.
I don't know. I don't know about your record.
Oh no, dog.
I don't know about
Ain't you on the donut, man?
Listen, I have a friend who
hear this, man?
he has a CDL, but he drives tractor trailers. He's the one that sometimes I call this man. He's scaled it back, but sometimes I used to call this man. Like we'll be chilling today, and then tomorrow I call, yo, where you at? California. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
24. He's one of those type of drivers.
Yeah,
like
he live on the
drive to
trucks, man.
Canada and all those places. But
Yeah.
now he's trying to, I believe he's transitioned into owning and he said one time, I don't know if it's him or another one of my friends, but they both own a truck. The driver drove somewhere to Nebraska, and then just, I don't feel like driving back.
You just walked away from the truck?
I don't know if he walks away, but I know they had to go get the truck.
Wow. Yeah,
Probably
you
had
walked
to
away
use,
from the truck.
probably had to use the restroom, bro. That's probably what it was.
And he wondered, where's the mute button? What mic you got? Number 4.
You already know that.
Nah, but yeah, so that's why I say that's a damn good question, because now people don't want to work no more.
They
Yeah,
don't.
no.
They don't.
It's a lot of
Um,
responsibility.
Yeah, that too. The industry really was being carried by baby boomers. That's what I realized. And as a lot of them start to retire, they start, turning in their CDLs and just chilling at home. The demand for drivers are like really high right now. And, the insurance companies are trying to lower the age to a certain age to attract, the younger guys. The younger guys ain't really care about driving too much. It was really, because think about it. Think of a bus driver. Typically an older person, right?
Yeah.
Beer belly.
Yeah, exactly. They're retiring. They starting to get too old for this.
They're looking through their glasses.
The young people ain't coming in for that no more.
And young people, they want the money quick.
Yeah.
They want
Or they
the money
focus on
quick.
computers. They're not really focused too much on, the actual work. It's really computers and doing all that
Okay.
stuff. So it's a little hard. It's a little challenging. So we'll see what the future brings in the next couple of years.
Nah, listen, man. You, I think you should own a fleet. Like, what was one of the bus company names? Red Coach or something like that?
Oh,
Peter Pan.
Huh?
Peter
Pan.
Pan.
That's
Peter
something
Pan.
like Boston.
That was a company?
Red Coach was one of them.
Tell you, bro.
I don't
No,
know.
Red-
I've never
Red
heard
Coach-
of Peter Pan.
Greyhound, Peter Pan, Red Coach. You gotta,
Greyhound. But yeah, own a fleet, bro. Don't limit yourself. Go for the gusto. You know what I'm saying?
which I got a question for you. I know you said that started out was kind of hard,
Why
but
is this man talking so seductive?
brother, don't use seductive with a room
I'm trying
full
to
of
figure out
man.
why you talking like that though.
I'm a Barry White, bro. Got the right one, baby. You ever got to a point where you're saying like, all right, I don't know much more I can do with this, like, or feel like giving up
Almost every week.
every week?
Almost every week. If it's not the overwhelming amount of requests, it's me running around trying to do behind the scenes stuff. Like right now, a bus just finished the trip. I gotta go to the yard, take it to get fuel, make sure it's ready for the next trip tomorrow. And I'm flying out tomorrow morning, so I gotta make sure it's ready for the driver, get that situated, come back home, pack, get all that situated.
So you got to do all this
my
tonight.
my life is a story.
Damn.
Do you have a cleaning service that comes and clean it, or do you?
It depends on how bad it is.
Okay.
If it's something that I can handle, like a sweep and mop, then I'll do it. If you done did a grad bash trip and them kids turned all the way up, the floor is covered in gum and drinks and all that, then yeah, I bring it to it's a truck wash place. They could do the inside and the outside, and I let them do that.
Okay.
Boy, I'm amazed. It's number 4 coming. Well, you said number 4 or 5 by the end of next year.
Number 4 by the end of next year.
Gold is 5. He said the gold is 5.
By the end of next year. Damn. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick take with you. Just 3 quick questions.
All right.
It was just random. It was just thought off the top of my
Bless your heart. Looked at me for confirmation.
head. No, I'm saying it was no. It was, God damn, boy. You know what? Never mind.
No, go ahead, go ahead. No, go ahead.
What you,
Huh?
Go
what you
ahead.
got? What you got?
No, it was random. I was going back. Remember, I was showing you the video earlier about the hot takes and whatever. So, just thinking outside the box. This has nothing to do with your company. Are you a movies fan? Like, are you go to the movies
Periodically.
periodically?
I mean, I haven't been in years. Since pandemic, I ain't been in the theater. And prior to that was probably 2019. So, yeah, it's been
Okay.
a few years.
Quick take: Denzel or Will Smith?
In terms of,
Best actor.
Oh, you have to be specific, brother. You just call 2 man and say, which one? Brother? No, yeah, the dog.
Best actor.
I'm going to go with, man, that's a challenge. I'm going to go with, dang. I want to say Denzel. I want to say Denzel has a bigger impact with his name alone. But I think Will is more flexible. He could play different roles. Denzel is kind of like, in my opinion, kind of the same character kind of thing, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But I just see Will as being more flexible. He could play different roles.
Okay. LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan.
Why?
This is probably a personal opinion. I kind of seen LeBron in action in person, and I kind of didn't like what I saw. I went to when the Heat had the championship parade. I went down there, and it was all cockiness, and I just didn't like what I saw.
Jordan ain't cocky?
I mean, I didn't see that cockiness in him. But
Carrying
when I
that-
saw
I'm
that, when
carrying
I
that
saw that in
conversation
person,
there, brother.
like yo, the
Man, them a talk
kids,
about cocky. Me carrying that this stuff.
the kids. I remember the kids were screaming and
Ain't
reaching
a
out for
Jamaican
him.
in the
and,
corner.
You know, it was just a cockiness about him. I'm not saying I don't like him, but when I saw that, it kind of made me look at him different. But you know, as a player,
Jordan the GOAT. Jordan's your guy. Okay.
Man,
yeah.
man.
All right, next question. 'Cause
Pac or Biggie?
Pac.
Damn.
Why?
You say Biggie?
No, but it's you in the spotlight. So it's all you.
I can relate more to
So
Pac,
which they the
and
athlete?
actually, I think in my iTunes, I probably have more Pac than I do Biggie. I mean, I can relate more to Biggie's story. I kind of like his story more, but in terms of music, I'll say Pac.
Okay, last one. Worst diss song. Hit 'em Up or No Vaseline?
Shit. Yeah. I'll say Hit 'em Up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he started that song, it was just like you have no other choice but to fight.
right. So you're saying the hardest diss song?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mm.
I'm thinking the worst, meaning
not worse like the sorry.
Yeah,
like
Alright.
the most disrespectful diss
this
song.
song. Okay. Yeah.
But No Vaseline wasn't no slouch either.
Don't worry about it. He was in Jamaica. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
You're looking
Hit
around.
'em
I
up,
mean,
hit 'em
I
up.
mean,
What
I know a little
No.
something because you know I came here when I was 7, and back in them days, it's kind of more like geared towards a certain age group. But you know,
Okay.
I got a little piece of that era.
Y'all got any more questions for this? Yeah, listen, man. Brother, again, thank you for coming through. Thank you for making time out of your schedule, bro. I wish you all the best with that.
I appreciate it. Great.
You're this man. You just spoke to me about being seductive. Hey man, thank you for coming through. Now you biting his lips,
About
bro.
to
Where
sing,
the
about to
fuck, dog? Where the fuck, dog?
You want to bite him again so bad.
I think that's just his way of saying he want his moment now.
Yeah.
Kino Bino, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
What you talking about, bro?
We always end the show with a dad joke. So Kino wants his moment. Go ahead, bro.
We're gonna end it with a son joke
Go
tonight.
ahead.
What do you call?
Wait for the damn sound effects.
All right.
Okay.
What do you call someone without no body and no nose? They ain't got no body, they ain't got no nose. What do you call them?
Somebody.
Nobody knows.
You actually chuckled. didn't you?
No, I'm laughing at Dale. Dale went off to the side. He enjoyed it a lot. You know, it's his first time here. We used to this shit.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh boy.
The man actually, and you know the thing, the people laugh at the shit. Like people would text my phone, hit me on IG. One time we forgot to do the dad joke, and somebody said they didn't want to watch the episode because it wasn't there.
Oh.
So people actually enjoy the shit. Believe it or not, it's sickening. I don't understand.
Interesting.
But you know. Anyway, man. Again, thank you. We wish you
Appreciate
all
it,
the best
appreciate
with
it. Thank you.
all the endeavors that you got going on. I know you said, are you still gonna do the pilot?
Nah, at this point, it's very low. Because the idea was if I'm not in flight training by 30, then I'm gonna start a business.
Man,
And
go ahead and
30
buy you an airline, brother.
30 came.
Start your
I
own
said,
airline.
hey,
They going for sale. At
Yeah.
this point.
Go ahead and start
Frontier
your own
next.
airline. Nah,
Yeah,
but ladies and gentlemen, my name is Damian Johnson.
You already know, Keno Bino.
Devin Lee.
We had Dale West. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff.
Oh, before we leave,
Yeah.
do you have a website? Do you how can people go and say about your getting into business?
website is starwest-transportation.com. We have an Instagram, Twitter page, Facebook. Everything is Star West FL.
So, okay. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hit up Star West. See, we got the CEO sitting right here, and he's a good dude. And check it out. You need some business done, he'll get you cross country, wherever you need
Literally.
to
Wherever you need to go.
Literally. All right, ladies and
If the
gentlemen,
road
we're
goes
live
there, we go in there. There you go.
Facts. All right.